in my view,
he's not a hypocrite
to help sell guns
Piers,
in places like this.
He's not a hypocrite if he's learning and changing and adapting the same way you would in a situation in life. That's called using the brain that God gave you. Heck, look at the UK. You guys figured out that having a government with a king was probably a bad idea to rule everything. Am I wrong?
Well, we worked out that...
No, but did you change it? Did you change it? Yes. Welcome to America. We change things often.
What did we change?
You have actually people in your country that decided long ago that they didn't want to have one man over an entire nation. And that's part of the reason why America's here.
Let me get back to this issue.
Am I wrong?
Quite baffling.
Let's get back to the issue of schools.
It makes sense.
Very quickly, if you don't mind.
We just had a hearing in our education committee on this issue, and we've made the decision. It's a local decision, Piers. We have over 1,000 school districts in Texas. Many of the large districts have armed guards already, but the rural districts that won't have police response for 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, they want to arm their teachers, and it's up to the parents.
Let me just say this. I met 2 young female elementary school teachers in their early 20s in a bar in Houston on Friday night. And we were talking to them with our producers, and they were very interesting. Both believed they wanted to have a concealed carry permit because they felt for their own safety. Neither of them wanted to have any assault weapons, wanted a complete ban on assault weapons, and they were absolutely aghast at the prospect of having any guns in their school.
Well, there's always going to be someone who
disagrees. But here's my thing. Here's what I say. You asked me earlier, what would I say to the parents at this school whose kids died? I would say to you, why are you obsessing over a gun when there is a much bigger issue? There's mental, but there's mental health issues
I've got to
here.
leave it there. But look, I'm obsessing over the very gun that killed their children. That's why.
And what happens when they change the gun? What happens when they change the gun? You're going to obsess over every gun? I don't think you're going to, because then you'd be a hypocrite.
In the end, it is the gun, because without the gun, the person can't shoot anybody.
No, but you said the gun. It's the person.
I've heard this argument. I think it's a facile one, but I've heard it.
If that gun sits there and no one touches it for the next decade, the gun won't shoot anyone.
Let me ask you, you know why there are no shootings on planes in America?
Because we have
no one allows any guns. They're gun-free zones.
No, do you want to make...
They are the ultimate example of a gun-free zone.
They have security to stop
I've got to leave it there. We're going to take a break because we've got Ted Nugent waiting. I can't imagine things will get any calmer. But anyway, a fierce supporter of gun rights, a man I've butted heads with before. He is ready to come at me again. This should be quite lively after the break.
Okay.
Coming now, a man who's got very strong opinions about guns. In fact, just about everything. He's not afraid to say exactly what he thinks. He is a rock legend, an avid hunter, an NRA board member. He's Ted Nugent. Ted, welcome back to you.
Welcome to Texas, and I'd like to start off, Piers, by letting everybody know that everybody I know sends prayers to the Chris Kyle and Littlefield families for that tragic loss. And what a celebration. The heroes of the FBI and law enforcement down in Alabama did the right thing, so that's a great relief.
Yeah, and I totally endorse both those sentiments. Let's turn, Ted, because you're a great figure in this area. You know this area better than anybody. I've really enjoyed coming to Texas. They're lovely people.
Let me see that machine gun smile. You got a machine gun smile?
No, but here's the truth about it. It was an exciting experience. There's no question.
And you can't give me a smile? Wasn't that fun?
No, but firing weapons like that, they're incredibly powerful. I have never really done it before. It is an exciting experience. I can't deny that. My issue, I want to play you just again. This is the AR-15, not the automatic version. This is just the regular semi-automatic once I got the hang of it. Watch this clip. Wow. See, here's the thing. This is the weapon that was used at Aurora in the movie theatre, and it was used at Sandy Hook in the elementary school, and it's been used in the last 5 mass shootings. And I can see why. It was very light. It was easy to use. I had very little training before, maybe a minute's worth of training. And I found it very accurate. And even I was getting an accuracy rate which apparently is the same as the trained police officers with real fire in New York of about 20%, which is obviously different circumstances. I'm sure in a range they'd be nearer 90.
We're shocked, by the way.
Right. But look, here's the thing. I don't understand, and I want you to tell me, in the least inflammatory way possible, why outside of hog hunting, which I get is a problem in Texas, anybody needs one of those? And if the answer isn't very convincing, why the least we couldn't do to those poor families who lost people to that weapon is not just remove those from the equation?
Well, a number of things. First of all, I've been monitoring your gun debates. Go ahead and take it to the bank. You will never understand. I really don't believe you'll ever grasp.
When I understand?
You don't understand that it's a simple, inanimate tool that tens of millions of American families own, that have never caused a problem, never had an accident, and will never commit a crime. You have these aberrations that are such a minute percentage. So my prayers are as strong as any.
Americans a year get hit by gunfire, Ted. It's not a minor aberration.
Let me stop you there, because I've been hearing you say this, and you are so full of crap. Listen to me. That statistic includes bad guys shot by cops and intruders shot by homeowners. So that figure is bogus. So you got to have your research
it's an accurate
team.
figure. 100,000.
No, it's not. It's not an accurate figure.
100,000 Americans get hit by gunfire a year.
Those include bad guys getting shot by cops.
18,000 of those kill themselves with guns. Right.
Japan has a higher suicide rate, and they're not allowed to get downwind of a gun.
How many people got murdered by guns in Japan in the last 2 or 3 years?
We're not talking about guns. We're talking about the act of murder.
They have the
do you care about murders, or do you only care about murders with guns?
I care about all death.
I don't think you do.
Crime.
I think you care about guns. I think you're obsessed with guns.
No, I'm obsessed.
99.99% of the gun owners of America are wonderful people that you are hanging around with here today. Yeah. Perfectly safe, perfectly harmless, wonderful, loving, giving, generous, caring people. Would you leave us the hell alone? Go after the nut jobs, go after the murderers, because I don't know any. We need to lock up the bad guys, and when people show dangerous, murderous intent, which every one of these mass murderers showed, all their neighbors, their family, their teachers, their fellow students, they all knew they were crazy, but Piers, we didn't stop them because we're worried about hurting their feelings. We have a madman problem in America where they're running around. We have a felony recidivism problem in America. Let's focus on that together and leave the rest of us alone.
I won't leave you alone, because it's a debate that has to be had in America.
And we appreciate that, because you're the perfect poster boy to stand up for the things that make no sense at all to common sense people.
Well, this poster boy will take a break, and when we come back after the break, I want to know from you which of President Obama's 35 ideas for curbing gun violence in America you would support.
I have a cold, and I took NyQuil, but I'm still stubbed up.
Truth is, NyQuil doesn't unstuff your nose.
What?
Alka-Seltzer Plus Liquid Gel speed.
Things that the majority of Americans, when they're asked, support. And tell them now is the time for action. That we're not going to wait until the next Newtown or the next Aurora.
President Obama earlier today reinforcing his plans for new gun legislation. So, Ted, a recent CNN Time ORC poll, January 14th to 15th, gun registration now, 69% of Americans supported that. Ban on extended ammo clips, 58%. Ban on semi-automatic guns, 56%. So a clear majority in every case of Americans that you say I don't understand actually agree with me, not you. What is your response to what the president is trying to do? Which of his proposals do you agree with?
Well, I think I can frame it best by identifying the scammer in chief who claims that just to save one life would be worth this.
Isn't it worth it?
He had a chance to save 4 American lives in Benghazi, and he refused to do so. Now he's sending F-16s to Egypt. So how can you believe this guy? This guy is on record. This president of ours has been voted in by that clueless majority who is so out of touch, they still call magazine clips. They still call personal defense weapons assault weapons, which is a nomenclature created by the anti-gun agenda.
Just go through
I don't agree with President Obama on any of that
stuff. Do you agree with universal background checks?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Because the government doesn't need to know who's got what.
Of course they do.
Ted Kennedy was on the no-fly list 5 times, which I happen to support. But that's a bureaucracy gone mad. You can't trust these guys. I was turned down purchasing firearms a number of times, and I own Class 3 weapons, and I own hundreds and hundreds of guns. I've had a concealed weapons permit for 40 years. I've got sheriff credentials, and the instant check turned me down a number of times. It showed some felony.
But here's what's happened, Ted. You heard the owner of this store earlier in the show say he's selling 4 times as many guns and 4 times as much ammo
to me
since Sandy Hook. Maybe to you, maybe to Alex Jones, who was here earlier, which is fine. I find it an incredibly disturbing reaction to the massacre of 20 young children.
That's not a reaction to Sandy Hook.
But here's my question for
Piers.
you. Here's the question. Do you think America is going to be safer because gun stores like this are selling so furiously and so much faster weapons and ammunition, increasing both in America?
Absolutely. An armed society is a polite society. And again, I told you these statistics before, and they're not mine. They're actually Scotland Yard supported. They're UN supported. They're FBI uniform crime statistics reported. That where there are more citizens with more firepower, particularly on their person loaded concealed weapons permit,
Do you know the two countries?
there is a dramatic reduction in violent crime.
I saw you say this. So here's the question for you. Do you know the two countries which have the highest per capita rate of firearms per civilian?
America and Switzerland, I believe.
No. Do you know what the second one is after America? The Yemen.
Well,
are you seriously telling me the Yemen is one of the safest places on earth?
Are you seriously telling me?
Nugent,
Are you?
When you say this kind of bull, and that's what it is, people believe it. And the Yemen is not the safest country in the world.
Are you prepared to admit that your dream of a gun-free zone in Mexico is working, a gun-free zone in Chicago is working, a gun-free zone in all these cities where the slaughter rate is the highest of anywhere?
Let me give you some countries.
Including Yemen.
Let me give you some countries. Australia, Britain, Japan,
They don't have a Second
Canada.
Amendment, Piers.
Huh?
They don't have a Second Amendment,
Your
Piers.
Second Amendment, Ted, doesn't entitle you to have an armoured tank outside or an RPG on your shoulder. You accept gun control already.
Are you sure of that?
Well, I wouldn't want you in a tank. But there are already over 50 gun control measures in this country. We're not talking about bringing in gun control. We're talking about extending it to cover the preferred weapon and mass
violated by all these perpetrators every time. What makes you think that the 51st law is going to stop this kind of slaughter? And I'm here to tell you it will not.
Ted,
I believe an armed society is a polite society.
The mood is changing, Ted, and something has to change. But I respect your opinion. I respect you coming down to talk to me. Thank you.
Back at you.
Ted Nugent, and we'll be back.
A hybrid? Most are just no fun to drive. Now here's one that will make you feel alive. Meet the 5-passenger Ford C-Max Hybrid. C-Max says ha, C-Max says wee, which is what you get.